Howdy, howdy everybody, and welcome back to the Champion Forge Season 3 for episode number 5. The question on all of our lips is, how do we clean? My name is Kenneth Pitt, alongside Cast Nexus and Roger, and today, as always, we'll be looking to design a League of Legends champion live on stream, with hopefully some gratuitous help from yourselves. Hey Ghosty, welcome to the stream. It should be a lot of fun today. Exodus, how you doing today?
Good. We just cut off the charity event, and I've been sleeping for most of this week, which is something I really needed.
And how about you, Roger?
I'm doing fine. Just a little side note, I bought more fabric for my cosplays today, and I cooked something really nice, so I got my serotonin cut out for me today.
Look who's all feeling mighty and productive all of a sudden.
And even
Only
look,
for today.
look at this amazing splash screen with a little hee-hee there as well. Amazing. If I realized better, we could probably use that as the actual splash screen for our stream here today. So we are going to be using, as was demonstrated in the chat, that we're going to be using dice to do a little bit of backstory for our champion. So the way to use these dice is, and I'm just going to double check I'm not getting this wrong myself because it's still pretty new. It's !, then D for dice, and then the number. So we've got D10, D100, D20s, D6, and if needed, 3D6. Xavier Exodus is going to be in charge of calling for the dice things when we need them. But coming in today, Azav, you had a particular idea in mind, if I remember correctly, as to what kind of champion we'll be trying to put together today.
Yeah, so there were two ideas floating. There are two ideas floating around, and I'm not sure if we should combine them or even use at all. But I think they're interesting. One of them came from one of the viewers on last week's stream. I think it came from Escapist. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure. And he said, "What if you make a champion that can basically not move? So a champion that can only move via portals, and obviously the implication for that being that you probably are stuck in combat when you're in that zone." The other idea is something that I've been wanting to make for a long time, which is somebody who infects minions, who basically works with sort of puppets, or works with him affecting lane states, or him affecting jungle camps, or him parasiting minions or whatever, something along those lines. And it does sound like you can combine the two, but I'm not 100% sure on it just yet. And we're kind of letting fate decide that, because with some of these dice, we're going to hope and see what comes out of it.
All right, well, yeah, hopefully we'll get some more direction by whatever weird stuff we come up. So, Ghosty and everyone else watching, do let us know what you think of those initial concepts. So we've got the immobile teleporter and the minion manipulator of some kind. So, Zav, what have we got as our first role then, if we're going to try and get some direction from the fates?
Okay, hold up, because, well, I wouldn't say I wrote these down, but you're smart enough, Pete, that you wrote them down for me. So first we're going to do the cause of the mutation. Once again, I need to go take a look at the right page in the PDF document. So basically, if you roll a...
Don't forget the animal type first, though.
Oh yeah, the animal type first. Yeah, 100% right. So first we're going to do the animal
It's gonna be
type.
an animal again. Oh, great.
That's
I
right.
think it's...
Make Roger know how to draw every animal that exists. Isn't that just fine?
It will be huge, unless it's a dog again. Well then.
So if somebody in chat can do exclamation mark, was it D100
Yes.
counterfeit? Yeah.
D100.
If somebody in chat can do exclamation mark D100, so it is 100% sure we haven't rigged this one. Let it be an octopus. I think octopus is actually on there somewhere.
Yeah, so the thing that makes this really amazing
47.
is there's so many different kinds of animals, it's ridiculous.
So 47 is a duck.
Oh, wait, sorry. So the first one is on the previous page, which is the type. So 47, 47 would be rural. Now we roll again from rural animals. We could be another dog if we roll low enough. So we need
I think Nightbot accidentally gave Ghosty a timeout,
Oh no!
which was sorry, Ghosty. I don't think that was something we intended, so I don't know if we can get on
Sorry,
that.
Ghosty, I
If
don't
you're
think that
when
was
you're unbanned or when we remove your timeout, can you do another roll?
Oh no! Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened there.
It says stop spamming caps. Maybe she said like
Oh,
all
because-
caps or something.
Oh no, I think because of the I think if you repeat the same Nightbot is a little tricky on that one. If you repeat the same message within 5 seconds, sometimes Nightbot will just go, nah, you're spamming. Bam.
Okay, I've turned off the
Goodbye.
excess caps and excess emotes, so go wild. You shouldn't be
Okay,
banned
go steal
anymore.
it. Can you give us another D100?
So
Let's
we've got
go
a
to this
rural animal,
exclamation
a
mark,
rural juror, you
D100.
might say.
Yes.
Roger, are you hoping for another dog?
No.
83. 83 is a
Sheep. It's a sheep.
Yes! On
Yes.
this day, we have achieved our dream of designing a sheep champion.
okay.
Wait, okay.
Do we want to do the obvious here, and do we want to make him kind of a like a role reversal, and he's actually the shepherd over some minions?
A sheep being the shepherd, there's a certain poetry there.
Yeah, there's something where he's like,
Ooh,
I
yeah,
know how to
yeah,
do it
like-
better.
How the turntables, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we got a sheep.
Then we have to find out if it's gonna be a cute sheep or
Yeah, so I think the next role we have is on the cause of the mutation, organization, physical. Let's do physical size first.
Okay.
So physical size is a D20. So last time we
okay.
had the absolute biggest of chonkers in the
chunks.
form in the form of a puppy. No, in the form of a like a bulldog. Sheep reminds me of kindred. Ooh,
That's
is
true.
there
That is
something
actually
sheep mythology? Because I think rams in European culture were associated with Satan, with the devil. Sheep in mythology. Let me take a look here while we wait for somebody else to roll a D100 or somebody, goes
What was
to
it?
want to do it again.
D20, wasn't it?
Yeah, a
D20.
D20. Sorry, D20.
So could we get an
So-
exclamation mark D20 in the chat from anyone? First one will be the one that counts. Ghosty, feel
Okay.
free to roll as many times as you like. Never hold back. It's a 2. That's almost the
2.
opposite end of the spectrum. We've got a
Yes.
tiny sheep.
A very, very tiny sheep.
A
So
tiny
almost
bossy sheep.
a tiny bossy sheep.
How small is our small friend?
Okay, our friend is. Oh, these are all in Imperial units. So 5 LBS, which is
But 5
it's like 2
pounds?
kilograms.
it's like, is that 2 kilograms?
It's like 2
Oh, that's-
kilograms.
That's a really tiny sheep.
We got a tiny
That's
cute sheep.
tiny, tiny, bossy sheep.
Sheep. Yeah.
Ghosty
So
wants it to be
this-
fluffy. I think
this
maybe
can
it's mostly
kinda-
fluff.
This can kind of work with the teleporting mechanic because Sheepy is so tiny that going anywhere is just,
Oh, it's
he-
because the legs are so
sheepy.
relatively small.
yeah. The legs are so relatively like when you're only this big. Because if you have a sheep that's around 2 kilograms, that's around I think this size. Well, let's say a little bit bigger, around this size. So you're not going to be moving fast, so you should be moving efficiently.
One question: Can
Okay.
sheep have horns, or is that then like a?
I think it's technically a ram, but sure, I think we can make like.
Because I
sheep-
just saw like the cutest little drawing of like a little sheep with like those horns. and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
we can give sheepy horns. Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries.
sheepy.
This is
It
not
didn't
a-
specify what type of sheep,
That's
you know.
true,
So
That's true. That's true.
All right. Well, what excess? What have we got left to be determined? So far, we've done very
We have
well.
left to be determined. The cause of the mutation and organization is something we had. So that was on page 10 of this Google Doc. Sorry, of this PDF. So that's another D100.
look,
So
look
many
at it,
options.
Look at it. It's
Oh my God, it is.
It's more
As hell.
horn than the rest of it.
That is cute as hell.
It's very
Yes, I
jelly.
like. Yeah, I like it.
Like, I just saw it on Pinterest. I was like, I have to take it. Like, I'm sorry that it's
Yeah.
not gonna be super original this time, but I just have to do this.
So we need another D100. And
All right.
while we're waiting on that, I'm reading up on sheep mythology. The ancient Sumerians who worshipped one god above all, the mother goddess of Dumizi, who was a sheep, lord of shepherds and the flocks, was the most powerful in all of the Sumerian pantheon. I'm reading through this because it is quite big. Had the power to change time. Okay,
Ooh.
okay.
It also fits like with a teleporting a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like make it a little bit like Harry Potter, you know, like you're teleporting, but like you're also like through time or something.
Oh, it's all time turning. Oh, it's just while we're going through this, what's our current role?
D100.
D100. What's this
Current
for?
role. This is for the organization. We can kind of tie this into backstory, maybe. Because if, for example, if the sheep comes from a criminal organization, we might go over something along the lines of Ghost Eats. I think that's a little bit of it's exclamation mark. Yeah, there we go. So 39, which fits
39, huh?
into private industry. Okay, so Sheepy's a private contractor. So we could say something magical, like for example something along the Ionian trade, where it's I am a shepherd of the forest and I want to protect all this stuff, or it's something Piltover, because that's more along the white side on like the moral spectrum, and I mean the color obviously, but it's I think something Ionian with this would fit, where it's like a magic little sheep with immense power for some reason.
Imagine like a childhood friend from Heimerdinger.
Childhood friend, yes! I love that idea. Childhood friend from Heimerdinger.
I'm
Because
into
they're
it.
both just like, what
Oh,
shit did we went
This
through? Like,
this
what the
used to
fuck?
be my sheep.
We used to be the same size.
We used to be the same
I mean,
size.
they kind of still are. Like,
And now I added booster rockets to the sheep's feet.
All right, fantastic. So private industry, as fast as we understand that.
Yeah.
All right, do we have anything else we need to decide?
I'm thinking. I think that's basically it. I think hands. I think Sheepy doesn't really need hands, right?
no.
Okay.
Looking at the drawing, that would make it a little bit weird. Speech. Okay, so does Sheepy talk?
We could put a D6
like,
to
how
that.
does she be talking?
Yeah, how does she? We could put a D6 to that to see how, if at all, Sheepy talks.
So that would be 1, if you roll exclamation mark D6 in the chat. 1 to 2, not at all. 3 to 4, partially. 5 to 6. It's a 6. This is a talking sheep which talks real good.
Okay, so let's say Sheepy gave Heimerdinger some lessons on how to conduct yourself in social interviews, in social situations.
Who is it so cute?
It's kawaii.
No! Who allowed this thing to be so cute?
This is already better than the pug that had been created in the previous game. Hey man, I'm with you there. I don't like pugs. I like dogs. I like dogs, but I'm not a fan of pugs.
Outrageous.
I was just all in for the piercings. I mean, a dog,
Dog with piercings is pretty
non-binary
amazing.
dog with nipple piercings. Who
It
doesn't want
looked
that?
like, to be fair, the dog. I think it was Balzar or something along those lines of Baltazar. I don't remember. It was something. The name we gave the dog. He looked hella fly. Like the pug, the 200-pound pug looked hella fly with all the
Yeah.
piercings and the necklaces.
All right, so I mean, I was gonna say it's easier to be bossy when you can talk, but given my
Yeah.
experiences with goats, you don't have to be able to talk to be able to push people around.
True, and goats are quite stubborn. they're really I used to live in the countryside, and goats are actually nice to keep as pets, but they are really stubborn animals. Like if a goat, especially if it's a ram, if a ram doesn't want to go anywhere, it's just not going to go anywhere. You can try with everything you want, it's just going to stay there for the rest of its life.
Nice.
All right,
Like,
so
if
I
I
guess
sit- if I
this is
fit,
a good
I
time as
sit.
any to bring up this initially. So we've got the Bossy Sheep as an initial title, but has anyone
Yeah.
got any ideas for a name for this champion? We don't necessarily need to have a final name right now, but anything which is coming to mind.
Dolly. Dolly might be cool. Dolly the sheep. Thinking of like other. I'm gonna type in
Famous
famous
sheep we can
sheep.
think
Famous sheep. What the hell is this? So we have. If the site actually wants to load, we have Montusio, which was the first flying barnyard animal, which apparently by the Montgolfier brothers, who invented the hot air balloon, it's the first living thing they put up in the air, was a sheep. We have Metusino, which is the world's oldest sheep. We have Shrek, which is a sheep that was famous on the internet because it was lost for 2 years and went
Aw.
unshorn and basically had. It's a really heartwarming video. Please, if you want to look it up later, please do. But he had like a massive amount of wool sticking to him.
Oh, I think I heard of that one.
Ooh.
Like he was
Lance?
huge.
Lance Corporal Derby the 15th, the highest ranking sheep in the British Army.
What?
I'm gonna link you to this, Pete, as well. So I'm gonna link you the image. See if you can get up on the stream because this is so typical British. Oh, it's too powerful. Yeah, of course the image is too big. I'm gonna give you the image link.
Damien
then.
had
Hold
the
on.
suggestion of sheep tar. I've not seen the
Sheep tar.
the Sword Art Online abridged series, but apparently it's from there.
Sheep tar. What's sheep tar? I have no idea.
I'm guessing it's something like a sheep dinosaur kind of idea. I don't know, Damien.
Ooh,
Damien, can you-
like
can you
a,
tell us a little
a
bit about that?
primordial sheep. Yeah, I think that's something we could do. The first thing was the first. Oh no, from the Sword Art Online thing. So kind of the Minotaur. That's also something. I mean, we're gonna have to convince Roger on this one, and I'm not sure we can. We could also do like a Minotaur thing, where
For now, I have the cute sheep. I'm
Okay.
not changing that to a Minotaur. I am in love. Next
I thought-
next stream, Minotaur.
I thought that might have been the case already. Yeah. So I think we're not going with Minotaur, even though it'd be a cool concept. Well, but we can circle back to that one. So. Okay, so what high level concepts can we go with? Like, I imagine something magical then, right? If it's this tiny.
Or like it could be like, the outside's really cute, really fluffy, but like the inside's just like messed up, like Jinx a bit, just like completely blocks. It's just like
What I do like is if we give Sheepy here, and it's kind of this kind of works around with the idea of Lance Corporal Derby, who is actually a sheep who is currently serving in the British Army.
Why?
What if so we went around with the idea that this sheep is herding stuff. What if he's actually there we go. We get it on there. What if this sheep is actually the leader of something as a kind of concept, and this sheep is kind of leading his own herd of other forest animals or other animals from Runeterra.
I could go for that idea. there's our friend there. I do agree. A mini Minotaur would be pretty fun.
A mini monitor would be pretty fun, yeah. Oh, that reminds me of the mini Minotaur song by I think Tobuscus. It was like 10 years old at this point, but it's kind of fun. Okay,
Gosh, you're
so
old.
yeah, I'm getting old, getting to be boomer. So, what else do we have? So, thinking how can we? I mean, private industry. That's kind of like a forest. You can kind of see as a private industry, right? Ivan, you're
What
stretching.
happens in the forest stays in the forest.
Yeah, you're stretching it really far here, but the
I have to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Let's see. Google for private industry.
let the sheep run for president of animals. Sounds like Zootopia. Ooh, yes, yes. So,
President of the forest.
president of the forests. Yeah. I like, it's, yeah. We can almost do a take on Animal Farm here. Where it's like, it's
Animal
it's
Crossing.
Animal
Everything.
Animal Crossing farm.
Oh, no, that works in perfectly with the fact that we rolled a 6 on speaking. He's very literate. He's very well he's a very well reasonable sheep, or he or she, or like we're gonna give it a gender or a name later, but it's so he's good at talking, so he convinced all the other forest creatures to kind of say, what if, hey, just let me be your leader, lol.
Lol.
Yeah.
Of course you said lol.
Yeah. Okay. Good at talking. Convinced. Oh, okay. So, what if, right? Instead of, no, that's too much Ivern. I was gonna say, what if instead of the sheep infecting minis or jungle camps, he actually talks to them and convinces them to join your side.
I'm sure at some point
But that's a
I
little
don't
bit
think
Ivern.
it is, well, it isn't, it isn't. Like, Ivan doesn't really interact with the camps very much.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true.
Like, I think while it's it's certainly the most straightforward way to go. Also, Ghosty, just kind of catch you up here. So what Ivan does, he goes in, and his kind of gimmick is he makes friends with the animals in the jungle rather
He doesn't
than
kill
them.
the jungle camps.
Oh, Hearty Viking does a good point. If we do end up having this champion followed around by creatures, it probably would be something like the Bard Meeps. I don't know if that's actually a bad thing, though.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Okay. let's bring it on as one of our high concepts then. So
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. So let's call them Sheepy for the time being until someone
Yeah,
comes up with a more
Sheepy.
definitive name.
If you have any particular good names in chat, by the way, please feel free to drop them. You can also join our Discord. I think there's a link in the description. Yeah, we're selling out. But yeah.
We're not. You are.
Well, yeah. Hey, I got stuff you want to buy. That's all I'm saying. You know, I give you best price. Anyway.
Okay, so if we talk as a sort of like a broad concept here, that Sheepy almost certainly has to be a jungler.
Yeah. So jungler that collects
Imagine
animal
Goofy as a
friends.
top laner.
And it's just this very strong champion with this tiny little sheep.
Or imagine, have you heard of River Shen? The legend
Yeah.
of River Shen.
The
Imagine
legend
like
of
Sheepy as a river sheepy.
the river sheep.
The river sheep.
Ooh,
The
something
river
has.
sheep.
Hold on, I have an idea. What if Sheepy can jump on terrain? Because there are a lot of sheep who are really good at climbing.
Oh, like
Are really good-
like Sheepy can actively jump over the walls or something?
Yeah, either jump over or on. Maybe on is not really a mechanical league on itself, so maybe over is not a bad idea. Where Sheepy can actually jump over wall, like a goat. Yeah, well, yeah.
I feel like you are maybe thinking of mountain goats here.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, whatever, Pete. Okay.
This is
Nerd.
not supposed to be like
Wow.
naturalistic.
Look who's all of a sudden a biology nerd. Okay, it's no. Okay,
think
so
you're fine.
let's save that idea for actually. We'll see if we save it for a different day. But okay, so jungler Sheepy collects animal friends, so kind of has a stacking mechanic in a way.
Yeah. So if we're gonna go for the champion who works most similarly, then if we just say, because if we try and figure this out in a way, we would maybe try and prototype this if we were working right. So if we just give them Ivern's sort of collection mechanic. So who was it who was asking about how Ivern worked? I can't remember, but so Ivern will go up to a camp, he'll kind of like activate an effect to them, which will cause a circle to grow around them. And when that circle is complete, he can kind of collect the animals and effectively sort of benefit from what you would get from normally killing them, but just kind of all at once. So if we took that idea and then had that be that maybe it works the same way, but just what he gets or what Sheepy gets out of the whole thing is different.
Yeah, you could say that. So Sheepy works in a similar. So we're kind of deciding on we're giving Sheepy the similar Ivern mechanic, right? Where Sheepy doesn't kill the camps, but instead he kind of has to, or instead Sheepy has to wait for the camps to, be collectible enough.
Yeah, I think that's a decent place to start from.
Okay.
Also, actually, we should probably just roll for their pronouns as well, so we can, because everyone's
saying
her, him. So
yeah,
what do you want to do? Should we do a D6 for pronouns?
Yeah, sure. So what would be the outcomes then?
So 1 to 3, he, him. 3 to 4, she, her. 5 to 6, they, them.
Yeah, sure. Works for me.
All right, so can we get a D6? Hearty Viking, do you know command from D&D? I don't think I've ever used it.
Okay,
so
that's
that was
a
she, her.
She, her. Okay,
She-her.
it's a she.
A she.
A she. Oh, that can be a joke. What's my pronoun? Well, it's sheep, obviously.
That's pretty awful.
Okay.
I'm going to write it down for later on.
Yeah, because we often make puns and then we forget them when we actually get to the voice lines. Well, I say we. So, so collecting mechanic as well. So she's a jungler. Thinking of stuff she can do as well. She can have there has to be, when you're a sheep, there has to be sort of a ram mechanic in there where she'll charge at somebody, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think that might be a good gap closer for a jungler and maybe a sort of a stun as well.
Wait, currently, outside of Scion, there isn't really a charge stun yourself mechanic in the game, is there? Scion's got that on the Unstoppable Onslaught that he'll run into something. If he hits it, he kind of self-stuns, but if he hits someone else, he stuns them.
No, there are 2 other self-stun mechanics in there, and there's Malzahar and Warwick. Or, Warwick if you're British and you actually know how to pronounce the name correctly. Sorry, Riot. And I think, besides that, those are all the self-stun mechanics. And yeah, why not? So she goes in, and there is a self-stun, but she keeps on going. I mean, sure, why not? Why not, eh?
I really like the idea of an ability. Let's just change to a slightly less art-focused screen just for now. I really like the idea of Sheepy just kind of stomping her tiny feet as she kind of charges up for this. The charge forward, which will then either hit someone and stun them, or wang her into the wall.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea.
Okay, stomping hooves. Okay, I like that idea. Yeah, Hearty Viking, the Blitzcrank's slow as well, so.
Oh yeah, Blitzcrank slow as well. Yeah, you're right.
That's a good shout. Okay, so let's see. So we've got 2 concepts so far, and please everyone in the chat feel more free to chuck in ideas which make sense to you. So we've got collecting. Well, I'll open this to you, Exodus and Roger as well, if you want to pitch in, if you've got time from drawing sheeps. What would make sense? So if Sheepy's going to collect animals from the other animals of the jungle or forest, though to be fair, it's really a forest. It's not jungle.
Yeah, it's more of
the-
a forest than a jungle at this point.
So what kind of things would make sense if this is a sheep politician character? What makes sense? What are they doing when they get, when they gather?
Well, obviously, you got to start campaigning, right? So, so what would be cool, and this might be a bit too much on the goofy side, so if it is, you can feel free to shut me down. What if you have a mechanic, or you kind of start a campaign, and then it spreads, and you need to put it down in the jungle, and then after a while, you can collect your votes. So,
Okay.
So for example,
So are you talking about maybe that we could make the Ivern mechanic a bit more involved by having it that you could maybe do something a bit more with that mechanic by using your abilities in some way?
So one of the things that Ivern does is can clear a jungle pretty fast because he doesn't need to do damage to jungle camps. It costs him health. What if these jungle camps can kind of... So imagine you have, for example, you're on the bot side, right? And you have 3 jungle camps encircled with the Ivern passive. And let's say if you have at least 3 jungle camps in a vicinity, then you'll be rewarded later when you come back, and you can kind of get you can collect your animal friends.
Oh, actually, so I don't know if this is quite what you mean, but this is an interesting idea, which may be just me misunderstanding you. What about the idea... Hearty Vikings, I like your idea as well. We'll come back to it in a second. But what about the idea that Sheepy doesn't actually kill them?
Yeah.
That Sheepy encircles the jungle camps and it's almost like a reverse Kindred Mark system where the more camps, so this is kind of building your campaigning thing, the more camps that Sheepy has got encircled, the more sort of passive experience and power Sheepy's getting.
Yeah, I like that idea. So Sheepy's gonna meet. Will she be invading then, or will she kind of want to
presumably.
take care of her own? Yeah.
So
Okay.
That kind of lends itself to some interesting mechanics. Yeah, because it's like you decide how much territory are you going to try and control versus, if you go and invade, presumably the other team have got the chance to go in and attack your sort of supply line effectively by going after the camps you've encircled.
Yeah. So if I hear this correctly, you want her to be powered, strengthened by votes. Yeah, we're gerrymandering here all the way. No worries. So Sheepy can kind of campaign, convince. Actually, that might be a really good ability name, gerrymandering. That might be a good name for a passive. So she can go. Do we want to say she gets marks, or does she need to get her? Can she kind of choose freely between certain enemy jungle camps?
So Viking, let's go back to what Viking was saying before. So passive, she gets followers per X minions of monsters she killed, aka convinced to follow her.
Yeah.
So if we maybe adapt the idea of being that she gets a certain amount stronger for every account that she's got actively sort of engaged.
Yeah.
And
I think the one problem I see with this, but there is a healthy fix. There's a really easy implementable fix. Is obviously it's a jungler, and junglers tend to farm their income tallies off when you're going into mid game and late game. So that's when junglers don't really focus. Other people will take camps. So you can say, for example, she'll get stacks up until a certain point where the stacks don't really matter anymore, where it's not like an infinite scalable stacking effect. Let's say similar to Victor's passive. Victor needs to get these passive stacks in with his hex core evolution, and after a while he has all the evolution stacks.
Okay, yeah, I can see that working where this is getting very into the weeds mechanically, but that maybe you get maybe the passive is literally just votes.
Votes.
So you get these...
legislative power.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Yeah.
You get votes from having camps encircled. I don't know what we want to call them. What's the right term here for?
Encircled.
Encircled doesn't sound right, does it? Engaged?
No. Engaged. Yeah.
Engaged sounds okay. That
Engaged
sounds
is-
like she's fighting them though, which isn't ideal.
Engaged. I mean, okay, so tallied up maybe, like riled up, rallied
Oh,
up.
it sounds like we need some help in Twitch chat. We'll go with circle for the time being, just for clarity's sake.
Yeah, convinced. Yeah, convinced is not the worst of terms.
Yeah, convinced is better than where we were.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's our final term, but so I think I like the idea that you get, maybe what it is you get like more votes over time to a certain point, and then it drops off, starts dropping off again.
Yeah,
You're rewarded for holding it for a certain amount of time, but you're always incentivized to go out and find new things after a certain time. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe once you've like extracted the votes from the camp, that's the point at which your teammates could potentially kill them or something.
yeah. I think that might not be a bad idea because once you get it, you okay. So if you want to make this mechanically, I would say once you've extracted the votes, once you've convinced the camp kind of goes on a sort of internal cooldown where it takes them, let's say, in the next 7 minutes, you cannot gather any more votes from this particular camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's still a degree of sort of the territory control stuff in there, but there's also
4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
Okay, I actually genuinely think that's a really cool idea for a kit. Like, I think that's really neat.
I also think it shies away enough from the people who were around in League during the Feral Flare and the Wiggles Lantern meta know that there was a time where junglers could power farm and get more powerful based on every camp they did, but that creeped up a whole lot of issues. But I think this shies away enough from it where it is balanced, especially where there is a cap added. We can no longer, like, once you get the votes, right? And you have to start using that legislative power.
Damien has a special request for Roger. So as a presidents nowadays wear a suit, but because she is a small sheep, could she have a small tie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to Roger. Roger's the one who's going to have to
Roger?
Yes. I will give her a tie. I will also give her 1 or 2 peace rings, or like rings on the horns, like like jewelry.
Yeah, rings on the horns. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that I'll agree with because she wants to look
It's
professional,
my
right?
trademark. Everything I draw has at least 1 piercing.
Everyone's got their style.
And if
Everyone's
you
got
don't
their
see
style.
it in the face or the ears, you know. Never mind.
So Viking's got a really good question here, which I think is going to be fundamental to the way which this works, which is, as a teammate, can you screw up Sheepy's strength by killing the jungle camps that she has convinced?
Ooh, that is a good question. That's a really good question, Viking. It is kind of weird because if you kill jungle camps with Sheepy on your team, it is kind of counterintuitive or to the message that she's trying to be. She's the president of the forest, in essence. So maybe we turn the Ivern passive upside down, where so you can get a jungle camp, but if Sheepy has convinced the jungle camp, then an ally can, because Ivern can give a red buff or a blue buff to share it with another champion. What if you can kind of share golden XP that way, where if a camp is convinced, then somebody else can kind of go to that camp and the animals will just give you some golden XP in return, and then the camp will disappear. I don't know if it's too gamey, if it's too tricky, maybe not gold
I think that could work. So yeah, I think that general idea of trying to use, as Viking said, you said, using the share mechanic makes sense to avoid that problem of being that you're actively working against your team to an extent. Or
Or
would the camp
inst-
insta-kill a teammate?
Yeah, yeah. Sort
Probably
of. Probably not.
Okay, so maybe once the camp has had its votes expended, then it will... It's kind of weird, the idea... Okay, so yeah, I think maybe once the camp has had its votes expended, it will leave behind a buff like the red or blue buff would be for the, for Ivern, but only Sheepy's teammates can pick that up.
Only Sheepy's teammates can pick up the buff. Yeah.
Okay.
And this can be a small buff, for example. This could be something. Oh, you'll get, you'll be ghosted for the next 20 seconds or 30 seconds or something. That is because that it also incentivizes you to, as a teammate, to actually get that camp and to not just power farm in lane. Because then once you're there, you can be back in your lane pretty quick.
Okay. I mean, I did have the thought that I think this is a pretty brute force approach to the problem. Is you could literally just have that when a camp is convinced that a Sheepy's team treats them as allied minions and so can't actually hurt them.
Okay.
That's the most brute force way of making sure that they don't screw it up for them. I don't know if that's too far, but that would certainly solve the problem.
Ooh. Maybe the thing is, I kind of also... Okay, so I have two things here. I also kind of want to start working on the rest of the kit. Because we're giving Sheepy an entire thesis as a passive, which is not a bad thing. I mean, other champions like an Ivern, for example, have a lot in their passive. And then the rest of the kit is fairly straightforward. But you could have something, for example, where if you've convinced at least 2 camps in a jungle part, that they'll kind of scout for you, so it'll kind of give you vision. But maybe it's putting a hat on the hat, and maybe it's making the passive too big, while not actually giving the champion anything to do at the moment.
I kind of like what you're saying, because there's a lot of different ways we can go here.
Yeah.
Like, as Hearty Viking says, we could absolutely have it sort of a made them a miss situation where okay, this is another sort of big thing, is we could make it so that when you use one of your abilities on a camp that has been expended, that you can sort of cash them in various different ways.
Yeah.
So maybe one of them could be leaving behind the golden XP for your teammates. Maybe one of them could be making them into minions who will go to a lane and walk down that lane.
That could be something. That could be an ultimate, for example, where all of a sudden Sheepy just summons a load of jungle minions and they'll fight on your side. I think especially when you want to push, when you say, okay, we want to push a turret. Well, you've collected the votes, right? So you can summon the camps that are still up in your jungle. You can all summon them to fight. They just come to your side and they'll start pushing a lane. Which you think, is that really that powerful? I actually think in a late game when you want to push, that's really powerful, because all of a sudden you have a big minion wave to push, to maybe dive even.
Okay. Convinced jungle camp monsters to your lane. I actually think that's a really neat idea.
Yeah.
Damien, make the Team Sheepy's campaign. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Trying to find a way to bring the... Yeah, I don't know, as Hearty Viking, like, that could be really, really strong. I feel like it does require Sheepy to have set up the play ahead of time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like, I think it's probably balanceable.
Yeah, I think it's balanced. It's an ultimate that in essence is really powerful and really weak at the same time, because you get all these jungle camps, which can be let's not put a number on them just yet, but if you just spawn loads of jungle camps to come fight for you, all of a sudden you can dive basically anything, because you have enough minions you have enough creeps that'll take aggro. But at the same time, jungle camps, especially during late game, are kind of easy to kill as well.
Benjamin isn't a bit overpowered. What about the idea, maybe you don't just spawn them, maybe they physically walk to you where you are?
Yeah, that's a
So-
good idea.
So
Yeah.
that means that even if that actually, yeah, that's kind of a self-limiting effect because if you have, say, all of the camps convinced, they're not all going to arrive at the same time. So where you decide to use your ultimate and when is going to make a fairly big difference. Like you can push mid with a lot of them all at the same time, or you can have a couple of waves in one of the sides.
Yeah. I like that idea. Where you have to, and it can be something along the lines of there's a global audio queue in there, like with Scion's R, for example, where it's okay. So you can hear Sheepy has used her ult, so you kind of get as a team the counterplays. You get time to prepare against the horde of jungle camps that will come to your lane.
I think I like Hearty Viking's idea of less HP when summon. Maybe what
Yeah,
it would
definitely.
be is that you have a limit on the amount of HP that your camps can have as a group.
Yeah.
So the more of them you summon, the more effective like attack you have, but also you're spreading out the HP pool across more creatures. So it kind of hopefully would have some sort of self-balancing in that you can either have a few very tough creatures who are not going to do a lot of damage, or you can set up for a huge wave, which is also relatively easy to kill.
Yeah, I like that idea. Where it's just, I think we don't need to iron out the specific details, but I like the idea where it's a global, it's a sort of shared HP pool between them. So if you only have one creature, then at least you're gonna stick with that creature's vote as well. Like, okay, we're gonna give you, you have my support through and through, Sheepy. I'm sticking with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Hearty Viking, absolutely. I think there would definitely need to be a notification going out with the... oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of queue.
Yeah. So the Q, I would say, is the ram idea, right? Where she kind of charges up for a ram attack.
I mean, Rampage.
Right. Yeah, that works. That works.
It's not my finest work. Also, I just want to take a small aside to look at how freaking amazing Sheepy is
Sheepy
looking already.
looks.
Look at those colors on the horns there.
That is actually great.
Oh my gosh. We've got to find a way to get these horns. Okay, so the horns glow. The horns glow while Rampage is being charged. So it's a
Yes.
horns
The
glow
horns glow.
while Sheepy charges up for a charge. That's not a great way of putting it. So
Charges
I guess
up.
it's like a line. I guess it's basically like a sort of a Malphite ultimate that's like an all charge, or maybe
Like an orange charge. Yeah, like a miniature version of an orange charge. And the longer she charges, the more you're knocked up, the more damage. I think that's all pretty self-explanatory.
yes, range, damage, and speed. Self
Increasing.
stun on a miss. Yep, I mean I like everything there. I like. Charges in tiny little stomps. Yes, I think we need to make it very clear that these are tiny little stomps.
Ooh, the double. You know what could be another ability? Seriously, an AOE. Is it a? How do you call this in English when she blats? No, when a
Bleats.
sheep makes sound. Bleats. Yeah, an AOE bleat.
Oh,
Bleat. An AOE bleat. Is that right way of
Okay.
phrasing it?
sure. What does this AOE bleat do?
Okay, so it does in a cone in front of her. It will do damage, and it doesn't need to charge. I'm thinking of she starts small and then actually no. I think it's just a blat, and it's a AoE ability. Small cone in front of her, but on a short cooldown, so where you will take moderate damage.
I think we used that exact ability last
Yeah, I
time.
think we used it exactly. Okay, so let's do something else. So
let's just step back for a second because I
Yeah,
want to make
yeah.
sure that we understand what is this champion doing before we
Yeah,
go
that's
too
a
much further.
good call,
Because if we
good
don't
call.
understand what our champion is doing, we can't give them abilities that will allow them to do it.
okay, so the ultimate in the queue is already a lot of utility.
Yes, so we've got, I guess, so our big thing here, our big moment for Sheepy is summoning the forest. So we've kind of almost got a split pushing or a tower pushing identity in there.
Yeah. Do we want to give Sheepy maybe something like an attack steroid in some way, where she kind of gets more attack speed?
Okay. Well, as long as you've got a particular reason.
So the reason for that is, what if some of these jungle camps that you spawn kind of scale a little bit with the stats that Sheepy has? So if so for example, if Sheepy has a lot of AD, these jungle camps will also get more AD, or if she has a lot of attack speed, these jungle camps can get more attack speed. And I don't think we're all going to define them in this session, because I think that's an entire episode on its own. But for example, when you say, you know what, if I build very tanky as Sheepy, my jungle creeps are very tanky as well.
I like that idea. I now realize we're doing what we've done a few times before. Yes, similar to the bleep being like Trinda's Mockery, I think could absolutely work.
Oh yeah, that's actually something that can be,
Jungle camp items. So that actually brings us well back in, because we've done what we've done before, which is we've had so many ideas we've got excited about, we've forgotten about the original ones. So
yeah, true.
Right now, we don't have any mechanic that firstly ties into the votes, and secondly does anything with the camps outside of the ultimate.
So so let's circle back to the votes, because these are kind of really the core part of the kit. So the votes. Do we want to kind of like steal a page out of Victor's book where she can upgrade an ability, or do you just want to say these abilities she just gets more stat heavy in a certain way?
Let's try and think of why we'd want to do that, because this is the big thing for this season. Is we've had the expert come in. We're trying to live up to our design dad by just thinking through why. So oh gosh, this is such a weird champion, conceptually, that it's quite hard to think of the whys of anything. But
yes and no, because what you can say is Sheepy is good. Think of Galio.
Okay.
So Galio is good to come to your side and then kind of turn the fight around.
Okay.
I think Sheepy can be put in a similar spot, especially with the Q. And then, my allies are gonna fight here. I'm gonna bring over my homies. I'm gonna bring over my forest crew and rampage in there and see if I can get some help. Give them some help. So Sheepy needs to be backed up with somebody to be really effective.
So I'm totally fine with that idea. So Sheepy is more of a supportive character. I actually don't think we've ever had a supportive character who's also kind of a split pusher at the same time.
Yeah, that's not a thing. So that's actually a good idea. Yeah.
A Hearty Viking votes expand the range of her influence and the range of her abilities.
Ooh.
That does make sense. That does make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we also need to figure out what kind of system the votes are as well, because you mentioned we could have stuff where it's is this a numerical value or a bar that fills up?
I'd say it's a numerical value, because I think with the reason I would say numerical value, and once again you can contest me on this, please feel free to contest me on chat, is because this is something that would be extraordinarily difficult to find the sweet spot between being either overpowered or kind of not powerful enough. And with a numerical value, you can tweak that easier. For example, with Victor, so I keep coming back to Victor because Victor has a similar mechanic, and they had to completely change that because it was just too difficult to balance every patch. I remember in every patch, especially when they tweaked an item, that's something Victor could build, they had to tweak his passive. So right now it's just, it's a numerical value, bam.
Okay, so maybe what it could be then is so I like what Viking's saying there, which is expending the ultimates to enhance expending the votes to enhance your ultimates. So let's put that in. I love that idea. So
that is cool. That is really cool.
All votes are cashed in to, I don't know, increase HP pool. That's just the most straightforward way of doing it, I suppose. Damien's saying they want a Sheepy plushie right now. Roger. I don't know if your art skills extend far enough it's into the plushy feel, but let's take a look again. Look at those magnificent horns.
I mean,
Yeah.
look how.
Kawaii.
That is really cute. Okay. So I imagine so the Q is something where you can rush to your allies with. So what if another ability is kind of like a protective thing then, or you got an
So
idea?
with the rampage, maybe it's something that you can use on enemies, but you can also use on allies. Because one of my biggest memories from childhood is being chased around by a goat and having it hit me in the butt with its horns.
Yeah, that is definitely so. Oh, she can.
She can maybe she can if she charges up and it butts into somebody else, it can give them a movement speed boost if they move in the opposite direction from where they got hit from.
Oh, okay. So what if? No, this doesn't work. I would say, what if you can climb on Sheepy while she's rampaging? But I think her being that small and I mean, Sheepy's the boss, right? Sheepy's the president. Sheepy doesn't get bossed around.
No.
Sheepy, yeah. But I like the idea where she kind of gives you sort of pick me up. So if you're, is it something along the lines of similar with Kled's ult, where if you follow Kled, you'll get a massive movement speed buff?
Yeah.
But on a smaller scale.
Yes, I was thinking more that Sheepy would literally hit people in the butt.
Yeah.
With her horns, and then they would become empowered briefly in some way.
So you'll get a small. Yeah, I like that. So if Sheepy, so let's phrase it this way: if Sheepy rampages just through an ally, they get a buff.
Oh yeah, actually, yes, I think that's better actually than my idea.
Yeah.
Though while I like the idea of her actually impacting in people's butts because I thought it was funny.
It's very. I'm gonna troll my teammates with it as well.
Yeah. Well, I think the idea of having a skill shot blocked by your own team is probably pretty feels bad. So if you pass through an ally, they gain a small speed buff or something.
Yeah.
Artie Mikey wants to int their teammates. I mean, what about? If you wanted to make Sheepy the worst champion ever, maybe you can rampage where you just knock up your teammates.
Yeah, knock them over walls. Knock them over walls. Even that's because that's how you troll your teammates, man. Just you're here, bam. Now you're in the now you're in the dragon pit with 5 enemy champions. Good luck. Okay, so
You're like, you pissed me off. You died.
you pissed me off. You stay away from my jungle camps. You hear me? Bam, knock him out.
How to be toxic in League.
So if we're going to work with a system where we've got votes that can be cashed in, so we've got kind of two different ideas here. So we've got, first of all, we've got Victor, where they are, I don't remember Victor. You do expend them.
No, so with Victor, basically what happens is you get stacks from killing from getting takedowns or killing minions. And when you have 100 stacks, you upgrade one of your ability. And when all of your abilities are upgraded, that passive doesn't really do anything anymore. Besides the fact that you have now massively upgraded your abilities. And that's how Victor works.
So functionally speaking, you are spending your stacks, and that you can't use them for anything beyond that point. They don't do anything.
No, they don't do anything. But I do like the idea where with Sheepy, it's kind of the more votes you have, the stronger your ult. Ooh, okay. So what you can do is, so there is a cap to Sheepy's ult with the votes, but when you level your ult, your voting cap increases. I think that's something we can do because. Nope.
Samong's famous.
Let's see. Okay,
Not
so
really.
vote cap increases with alt rank. Yeah, I'm done with the idea.
Yeah.
Damien says a president that could represent me. Just hit people in the butts.
I mean, I'd go
cause
for
them trouble.
Sheepy. Okay, something that Sheepy maybe can do as well is we haven't really given Sheepy a damaging ability yet, which you definitely need. You have the Q. Is there something you have the potential the The blad, the blah. Oh, what is it again? The bleed,
Oh yeah.
Leap.
bleed. Yeah. So so that actually can maybe be maybe even a shielding ability, or a more of a slowing ability because you're a little bit phased from the bleed.
Oh, sorry. This was something I meant to bring up before as well. Is we've also got to consider in here. I think the bleed is totally a fine idea, and I think we would honestly be a crime if we didn't include a bleed ability with the sheep champion. Is we haven't found places to allow for the types of camps that Sheepy has got on Encircle to matter. I don't know if we still want to do that or not. It could just be that it's, it doesn't matter which particular ones that Sheepy's got. It's just how many they have. I think that would be totally fine, honestly.
I think it'd be fine if we leave it as is. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I really, really like the idea, but I'm looking at the text on the passive already, and I don't know if it needs to be in there, but it can. Happy Light Sense, first level of alt forest rep, second level mayor of the woods, third level president of the. Okay, so forest representative, mayor of the woods. Is there a synonym for like a big wood? Big woods. There must be, right?
Okay, so I've never heard of this mechanic before, but I bet it could happen. Which is that when you type in the chat, you have a affix to your name of representative.
Anivia has it. Anivia has it, and Nar has it as well. Where if you're in Agnivia, your name becomes Agnivia.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, a prefix. So yeah,
Prefix,
as you level up your ultimate, your prefix goes from representative to mayor to president.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really neat idea. I'd love it. I think
That's
that'd be
really cool. Yeah. Okay, so the bleed, and there is one. I think the bleed is something we can figure out. There is one other mechanic. So she does have the Q, which is a stun. Do we want to give the E a shielding ability, or do we want to give it a damaging ability? As in something that is useful or something that does damage?
Let's see. Oh, so Happy was talking about the... Yes, I definitely think the Ascensions should come with visual improvement. Alright, let's let Roger display our... Oh my gosh, even a little heart as well. I mean, I don't know if you're
horns. I love the horns.
The horns are incredible.
If you want to have a visual representation, like either you give her a badge or the horns change color, depending on the rank of the.
Like the horns glow even more.
Yeah, they glow and they become bigger. She starts out with these tiny little.
She stays really small.
She stays really small, and she starts out with these tiny little specks. But then when she's president,
I have to draw that.
Okay, you can.
This is an art project that's getting larger in scope by the second. Yeah. Soon we're gonna have an Abe Lincoln hat going on there somewhere.
Yeah.
So right now we've just got the two abilities actually set. So we've got the ability to charge in. So she's coming from the jungle. That's her gap closer. And if she can set up for a play, that she'll knock someone up. So she's currently setting other people up for success, and she's also, presumably, sometimes when she's doing that, she is summoning all of the jungle monsters to push the tower down after making a successful gank.
Or just to clutter up a fight. I mean, I can see using this to either clutter up a fight or take down a big objective. Like if you have loads of jungle camps near you and you use your ult level 6 to just rush a dragon, I think that's not a bad idea to just use the ultimate for that.
Okay, so... Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like... We need to figure out how this is going to practically work down the line.
If you would include this in the actual game of League of Legends, I think this is something that requires a lot of playtesting. But then again, Silas Viego, so...
Yeah. I think probably where we would realistically end up is you would have representatives rather than specifically 10 minions or something. It would be one per camp or something like that.
Okay, so Happy Light Sense, maybe one of her abilities could be affected by the Ascension as well. Like like a small headbutt gets more powerful at max rank, all because of the bigger horns. That is not the worst of ideas.
There's certainly logic there.
Yeah. So let me think. So let's circle back to that one once we figure out, because I like the idea. But let's circle back to that one once we figure out what the actual other two abilities are, because we haven't finished or started on any of those.
I think conceptually speaking, having the like the knock-up get larger based on alt rank is very thematically pleasing. Whether or not it's the right thing to do is another question.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
But I think I love the thematic idea. I think that's really cool. All right, so we've got a bleat. So if we are that's something to think about. So Sheepy is spending a lot of time not around other champions as a jungler. So what we'd normally be expecting in kind of an AoE bleating ability to be would be something kind of buffing maybe.
Yeah. So it's either a buff, it's sort of a rallying cry, or it's a damaging thing. I would say Bleed gives you more attack speed or something along those lines, and it gives herself also more attack speed. Oh, and it also gives, when you have your ultimate available, it also gives your summoned camps more. That can be one of the upgrades. It gives your summoned camps more attack speed.
So wait, are we just finding a way to bring back Warwick's old W?
Oh yeah, fuck. Yeah, that's not the... Yeah.
That's not necessarily a terrible thing. Like, I remember, I think it might have even said it to Happy, actually. Or maybe it was to you, I can't remember. Saying that Warwick having an AoE attack speed buff was obviously from when they initially envisaged him as a pack leader. Because it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then he absolutely wasn't a pack leader conceptually as a character. But they
No, he was
still had
literally
this
the lone
pack leader
wolf.
ability.
Yeah, it was kind of the lone wolf kind of guy.
Okay, so AoE attack speed boost affects allies and jungle summons.
Yeah, and Sheep yourself as well. Because other...
oh, yeah.
Actually, does she? Yeah. It does.
I think that works, because, yes, it still works for Sheepy, like, in the jungle, it's totally fine. So Happy had the idea of it, no active at all, just passively gaining attack speed or something when you're close to allies.
Yeah, that's something that can work as well.
Would that work as a jungler, though?
You know what? Once again, this is an idea, hear me out. So, these two abilities can actually be used with your ult. So Rampage, for example, imagine you have jungle camps near you. If you queue, your jungle camps will kind of queue in the same direction. And the way you would do that is, if you have, let's put a random number on it. This is not a fixed number, guys, but it's just for clarification purposes. So if you have 100 votes, you upgrade your Q ability, so your Q ability will now work with your ultimate. So your summoned animals will have a form of Rampage. What that is, TBD.
Happy, you do make a really good point there, which is that Sheepy actually doesn't need attack speed in the jungle.
True. That is true. Because she's
not actually attacking them ever.
Yeah.
We also do need to figure out how she's going to interact with the dragon. I feel like we need to find a way to bring back more Kaiser's dragon pet idea, just because
that was
so
cool.
janky.
That was really cool.
It was so janky, but it was so great.
No, Happy, you're correct. She doesn't actually need an attack speed boost. Yeah.
Okay, so dragon problem, but to be solved.
To be solved. TBS.
So one of the things I love about these kind of design sessions here is we're kind of creating more and more problems for ourselves.
Yeah, we really do. We really do.
Okay, but I like the idea. So she's encouraged to play very much with her team with this ability, which makes sense because she is very team centric. Oh, okay.
Look at it! Look at the
the usual.
tiny roots.
That is. And the elders.
This is going in my portfolio.
Yes, it should.
Yeah,
This is
definitely.
the front page of my
Hold up, Happy. I'm reading through your. So maybe she can only kill dragons with smite, so she always has to be around her team to do damage, and the elder is the only one she can convince for her ult. That is that. It's not a bad idea. Seriously, it's kind of just how complex do we want to make Sheepy?
Apparently
Yes.
very.
Apparently, very, because we're already very complex.
We haven't
And
even
then-
got
but
one
they
of the
re-
abilities yet.
Otherwise, she'd have so many dragons. Yeah, she definitely would have a lot of dragons. But actually, what if the dragons are not really part of the forest, right? Dragons are in their own little thingy. Because Ivern cannot use his passive on a jungle camp either, on a dragon camp either. He needs to kill the dragon.
Yeah, I don't know. We might not even have an answer to that question here because this is such a... We're getting
Yeah.
into so deep of the stuff. So,
I think let's zoom out a bit first. Let's zoom out a little bit first.
okay, so we've got...
Yeah.
I had this idea, which I think we probably
Yeah.
shouldn't do, but I just want to get it out of my head so I don't
Okay.
keep thinking about it.
Shoot.
What about if the team votes for Sheepy as a mechanic?
Okay. And
I don't know how this
in
would
what
work,
sense?
but maybe you get items in the shop that allow you to, if you buy them, they cast your vote for Sheepy, and if you can persuade everyone in your team to vote for you, you get something. I don't
There
know if
is
it's a good idea, but
something-
it's just something that's in my head.
There is something I can think of. And it is buying the vote. It's basically, you can go into the shop and let's say for two, because Sheepy looks like a champion that will kind of struggle with resource generation. So what if you can have allies buy items or buy discounts on items for you?
I do like the idea of buying the vote.
They're
as a-
they're sponsoring your campaign basically.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
We'll maybe have to leave that as a so that's a shop item to gain votes.
Yeah.
Can be bought by self.
Jeez, this
14.
passive. This passive already.
Yeah, I know the passive is already ridiculous.
I want to really have the E locked down as well as an ability because that's something we haven't.
Yes, we
haven't
also
done
haven't
yet.
figured out what the votes do apart from the ultimate yet either.
Well, didn't they upgrade the abilities? Like you
They
can.
did in some way. We haven't figured out what the,
Yeah.
the
Okay,
upgrade
sure.
actually is. All right,
Yeah.
so E. So we've got a gap closer. We've got an AOE attack speed increase. What
Mm-hmm.
else is Sheepy doing on the reg?
Okay, Sheepy. So thematically, you're kind of there to. You're definitely a plus to have in a team fight. So do we want to hammer double down on that one and say this is also something where she can buff other people?
Well-
Or is it something to give them sort of protection, or is it a damaging ability?
Well, something I wanted to bring up here is so a big part of Sheepy the Sheepy experience, let's put it that way, is Sheepy the jungler that you're going to be invading or not? How does Sheepy deal with being invaded on? Because that feels like there's a big question that needs to be on our minds with what kind of abilities Sheepy has. Like, is Sheepy going to try and run away if someone invades, or are they going to try and fight someone when they invade?
I'd say Sheepy is when she's alone, she's vulnerable. So
I can
good-
dig that idea, yeah.
if that ties into what we said with buying the vote, if you get lanes that have prio, so if you have strong laners early on, that also means that Sheepy works better with that team composition because then, okay, Sheepy gets invaded, well, we're going to help out Sheepy. And strong laners probably will have a gold advantage early game, meaning that she'll with the buying the vote mechanic, that's something that ties into that as well. Where, for example, you say, yeah, I'm really strong right now, but I do have 300 gold to spare because I'm that strong. I'll just give it to Sheepy.
Yeah, I think that idea is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
again, there's definitely a degree of this with all of our designs we're doing. We're just
Yeah.
kind of doing them for the sake of doing them. But I think you could justify that for sure with the stuff you're saying. That,
Yeah.
like, it's a team decision. I could see a world where never buying the boat could be the right decision. And that
Yeah,
would be
where
a
it's-
shame.
Where it's, for example, Sheepy is, it would be a shame, but it is kind of the thing where, is Sheepy useful enough at that point? And do you want to say, look, I'm going to be stronger on my own if I do these items, or I'm going, because there are points in the game where I'm thinking, I am this strong on a champion that doesn't scale well. I wouldn't mind giving over some gold to an ADC that is struggling. I think that's I have been in games where like it's a shame I can't really distribute my own gold.
Yeah. Okay. We won't worry too much about balance there,
Yeah.
because honestly, at this stage,
Let's
of
not worry
design,
about balance right now.
Yeah, I don't think we ever really worry about balance too much,
No.
honestly. All right, so we need one more ability. So, okay, I think you're right. Sheepy shouldn't be able to stop people from invading on them. I think that should be a team effort. So they don't need an ability that's going to say burst someone down or anything like that. Oh,
He can be a gnaw. He can be something as simple as a gnaw, where she just bites something.
Aw.
No?
Oh,
Or
you
a
mean
charm
like-
ability. Or a charm ability as well, where she just
she
talks
is
her
very
way.
adorable.
She is very adorable, and she can kind of talk her way into things. So, and other things.
The first thing that comes to mind, which is almost... I'm not super keen on this idea, but potentially. You know Warwick with his Q can latch onto people? What about if her E lets her just latch onto someone? And she becomes
Yes.
she basically Yumi's onto them for a small time, and you just have a sheep hanging off of you while you're...
Yeah.
and maybe it slows you down
You're
or
like
something.
walking
Yes.
around, and you have the little like sheepy stuck behind you. She's just like flapping around. She's like with a gnaw on you.
I think what I always thought of that they should have done with Yumi is where Yumi takes a portion, instead of just having the, oh, I'm untargetable lol, Yumi takes a portion of the damage. I think that's something they could have done with Sheep. For example, let's say if you take 20%, like 20% of your health pool is damaged, then Sheepy's health pool is also damaged by, or it could be something as in, okay, Sheepy's health pool is added on top of that champion.
Well, sorry, so I was thinking that this is kind of like a reverse Yumi in that Sheepy would attach herself to an enemy and slow them down.
Oh,
and
oh,
deal damage
okay.
over time. Like, because the whole sort of clamping, like, just sort of clamping on, so if she gets invaded.
Yeah,
then
yeah, I
she
like
buys
it.
herself
Doesn't
time that
just
she
latch
doesn't.
onto them. Because like sheeps, sheeps and goats, they eat like everything, right? So what if she just
Yeah.
like takes a chunk from them? Like, she eats something, she gains a little speed and they get slowed.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I'm
a
thinking
little
that
bit
if she can
Malphite's
attach,
cute,
if she
yeah.
attached herself to them,
Mm-hmm.
and they were slow while it was going on, then maybe she took reduced damage while she was glomped onto somebody.
Yeah,
Then she could
Or-
then.
Or even more, I'm not an expert, I'm just like
No,
saying
We're not
something.
either.
we're not either. Yeah.
She numbs into something, she latches onto something, to someone, like enemy, they get slowed, and she's just like, untargetable for like a split second, and they get like slowed or something. So that like in like a panic mode, because like that's what I do, because like when I'm surrounded by like enemies, I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna die, like what do I do? And just like latch into someone, be like untargetable, and they get slowed, and my teammates are like on the way, and they get in, they bonk them.
So Ghosty puts down a good question on that. It is, how would the enemy get rid of Sheepy? So there could be a self-limitation in this ability, because I kind of like what Roger was saying as well. So there could be a self-limitation in this ability where it basically times out after a short period, or if you do enough damage, she will dislodge herself. There could also be something where they need to fulfill a certain objective. A good example for that is with the Alawi tentacles. Like, Alawi tentacles are very annoying, but at the same time, they're also really easy to get rid of because you just need to do 2 auto attacks. The problem is Alawi's there, defending her tentacles. By the way, this is very much a side note. What if we change the Q's name into Headstrong?
Yeah, that works. Rampage
Yeah.
is definitely much more a pun name.
Yeah, I think Headstrong is something that, because it ties into the whole fact that sheep are stubborn.
Okay, well, tell you what, how about the idea of it's a Yumi kind of effect for the, let's just call it clamp for the time being. because that gets the idea across. So
Yeah.
maybe it's similar to a Yumi effect in that you're attaching yourself, but you're not untargetable.
Yeah.
You take less damage, and you can be
Definitely
hard
have a damage
CC'd off of
resistance.
them.
Yeah. So let's say damage resistance. You slow them, and do we want to give it a time limit, or do we
I think
want to say you have
it
to?
probably has a timeout after a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say a time limit of small to medium duration where you slow an enemy. Ooh, if you upgrade the E ability, all the forest creatures will focus as champion.
Okay. Yep. Upvoted. Let's call them upvoted.
Yeah, upvoted. Yep. Do
Look at
surrender
the
votes
old-
count as well? No.
It's such a good idea, but I love the idea of like it would be such
That's
a terrible
amazing,
idea.
Roger. That's amazing.
Oh wait, what's going on? I need to see this art focus screen. What have we got going on? Oh my gosh,
Ultimate.
That
that's
is-
so good.
That is so good. That is really well done. Yeah. You want to mess with me? I got
might be
friends.
tiny, but my friends aren't.
I got friends in dark places. Don't worry. Do you have a moment to Happy Light says, do you have a moment to talk about my new pyramid scheme? She screams while she's attached to Yes, she's like the foot in the door salesperson.
We've been trying to reach you.
Okay, I'm adding it to the voice lines.
Yeah.
Do you have time to talk about my new pyramid scheme?
We have been trying
Yeah.
to reach you
I,
about
I think I have a feeling that these voice lines kind of need to be done.
Yes.
Kind of need to be done by Roger.
Yes. Okay.
Ooh, 1v1 me. Can I bring friends? I think. Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's when she dies. When she dies, it's embarrassing.
Sure. It works. It
You
works.
Oh.
smell like a baka.
Oh god.
Oh, what would I do if I didn't run for president? Probably go into the textile industry.
I mean, Roger, we'll let you just go wild with boys lines. I think all we need to do really at this point, I think, well, there's some stuff we haven't like resolved here with the champion.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to. So all we really need is to figure out what the. So if we say that for the headstrong, just because the horn growing mechanic is tied to the ultimate level, that the maybe the AOE at the end of the charge goes larger with alt level.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So is that the upvoted mechanic then?
That was going to be for with alt level. I don't know about what the vote mechanic would be for headstrong or bleat currently.
I would say the headstrong procs on you can your jungle camps will also perform a headstrong like a
that's right, yes.
rampaging. Yeah. Jungle camps will also perform it. And you can tweak that in however way you want to if you actually put it into the game, where you would say they do a small knock of the less. That's the effect is minute, but there are just a lot of them. So if you get hit by multiple ones, they stack or whatever. We're not gonna worry about whether or not how you would completely fix that.
No, I honestly I think it's a good idea.
Got a title for the ult.
Say
hello
hello.
to my little friend.
Yes, yes.
Sure, that works.
And the upvoted.
Roger, how would you feel about say hello to my furry friends?
Say hello to my furry friends.
Roger's voice would work amazing for this champion, actually.
Oh yeah, no, I'm taking that as a given.
Because it's so annoying. Huh?
No, because it just fits in there. No, Sheepy isn't annoying. Sheepy is really convincing. Because she's gonna be president one day.
All right, so all we need is the upvoted bleat. So I mean, we could honestly just make it a larger effect. If it's
Larger
upvoted.
effect, or jungle camps also give the effect, or something along those lines, or what's something unique we can do?
I don't know, honestly. I suspect. I'll tell you what, we'll just have the jungle friends do this effect as well, and can
Yeah.
stack. That's
I can-
totally fine.
Yeah.
So the only thing we haven't figured out is how do we? Are we just using the Victor system for votes? So we get a certain amount of votes, you use them to upvote one of your abilities.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say there's sort of, you get, and you can spend. I think there's one addition we need to make, or something that needs to be clarified is you can get votes over the cap, but you cannot spend them until you have upgraded all 3 ranks of your ultimate. So you'll get an upgrade on your basic abilities when you have enough votes and when you have ranked up your ultimate. Because otherwise it's the thing, oh yeah, but I farmed a hell of a lot in the early and mid game, but late I wasted all these votes. So that's it kind of disincentivizes you to farm early, which is kind of dumb. So let's say you always retain the votes, whether or not you can actually level an ability.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Gosh, we are starting to run out of screen space here entirely. So, Roger, do you want to take us through? Wait, what's going on there?
She's clamping. It's a top.
I was confused as to which angle we were looking at there. So could you show us where we are art-wise? I think we're pretty close to coming to
I
an
love
end
that
here.
the fact that legislative power is just a token of some currency. I love that.
I was reading through it, it's like a thing they can like pick up or something.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
Yeah, it's a small amount XP in gold charm that teammates can pick up. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a gold coin, yes.
A goat coin. It's blood coin.
Look at her. Look at her. She looks so
She's really cute.
And her
I
little
will-
form with the little horns. Oh.
Let's get full screen on this art. This deserves to be full
Yeah.
screen.
Wait. Level. Wait. What?
Can you maybe put the letters in there as well? So passive Q W E. I don't know if they fit.
Oh, the
Yes,
tie!
right.
We forgot about the tie.
Yeah, the
Oh,
tie. The thing is, the tie it doesn't really fit because she's looking down, so the tie would be here, and it would make it.
Mm.
I'm sorry.
That could be a seasonal skin. We're
That
gonna
can
need to
be a
get some money out of
skin.
you.
Yeah.
somehow.
That can be a
Every
seasonal
time-
skin.
Every time, like Republicans and Democrats in America are like going again, it's just like a red blue one. Wait,
My
so-
fellow Americans, ask not what you can do for the forest.
I have a dream.
Yeah.
So we have the passive, we have the Q, we have the what comes next? E.
The E was
W.
the W, yeah, but I think the
And the R.
So W for bleat, E for clamp.
Oh,
yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we are. I actually
just-
genuinely
just-
think this is a very cool champion.
This is a very cool champion. I like this idea. This is and gotta say the art really does help sell the picture because this
Oh
is amazing.
god, yeah. this is a triumph, Roger. Honestly, it is.
I fucking love
I
it.
genuinely
It's
think this might be one to send across the feral pony as being like a, I think we did something actually pretty neat here.
Yeah, yeah.
all Riot Games.
Just saying, right games. If you want our resumes,
This is our resume. It's all we need.
Join the Discord.
So actually,
What do
we
you mean
have
our
one.
resume? The art is my resume. You guys, send
I
me
mean,
your
we
whiteboard.
were inspirational. That's gonna count for something. So we have one last thing before we head to officially our end game, which is Roger. As has been said, we need your assistance. For Sheepy needs a voice. And only
Ooh.
you, professional cosplayer, can provide it.
Wait, let me give her the name here. Sheepy. Sheepy. There we go.
So,
With president of the forest. Yeah. Wait. Hold on.
okay.
President of.
You see, you get the real deal here when an artist actually writes out stuff rather than just be like. All right, can
Okay.
you? I've turned off the music. Are you able to see the voice lines? Yeah, we really didn't change the name, did we?
No,
Never mind.
Sheepy's
Sheepy's
cute.
actually pretty good. All right.
Okay.
So, for our social media, would you mind delivering the official, bona fide, genuine, will be in the game tomorrow voice lines, the word of Sheepy across the internet to our ears and our hearts?
Yeah, I would mind. My pronouns? Sheep. Like, okay, wait, mouthful. Do you have time to talk about my new pyramid scheme?
Can you do that a little bit more angrier? That one?
I. Do you have time to talk about my new pyramid scheme? 1v1 me? Can I bring friends? On that. How embarrassing. Baka! Wait. Something, wolf in sheep's clothing.
That was me just abbreviating. I think what happened was saying literally that. They only had half a quote. But nice, there we go. The voice of Sheepy, you have heard it, dear internet. May Sheepy live forever in your hearts and in your wallets. I hope that one day we'll be able to make a plushie of Sheepy because they are pretty amazing.
Oh,
Damien,
Damien,
please clip
yes,
that.
you are. Yeah, Damien, please clip that. Yeah, we encourage you to clip that.
Oh my gosh. So, just some small notes before we kind of go to people's shouts and stuff is, due to availability reasons, we're going to be back here next Thursday. So we don't know if we're going to be staying on Thursday. It's going to depend on things. But for the time being, so at least for next week, we'll be back here same time on Thursday. Exodus, do you have anything that you would like to shout out before the end here today?
Not really, because after BC, I will be doing something the 17th, I think, or 7th of December, but I can't talk about it yet. But I will be taking a small break on some stuff because honestly, I think it's
Okay.
well deserved.
All right, Roger, how about you? Is there anything you'd like the fine folks to know about?
I love this. I love this. Wait, there.
Fair
this,
enough.
This drawing over there, you know. I love it. I love
Fair
it.
enough.
For next time, what I'll do is I'll put in a command to allow for all of everyone's socials to get put into the chat instantly. That would save a lot of time, wouldn't it? But if you would like to come and join our Discord where you can engage in the future terrifying designs, tiny.cc/C Champion Forge. So that's Champion Forge, all
And
one
we-
word,
yep.
with a capital C at the beginning, otherwise it won't work.
And we do read some of the suggestions. Well, no, we do read all of the suggestions people put in Discord, the full 2 so far. But please do drop them in if you wanna. If you have any ideas of a champion or something you really want to make, we'll give it a shot. We'll give
Even
a
if
shot.
it's like the 4 a.m. drunk idea, like.
Even if it's 4 a.m. drunk idea, we really don't mind. Well, if it's a 4 a.m. drunk idea, we'll at least give it a read.
Well, for myself, I've got my TFT competition this coming Saturday, so just in a couple of days' time, which you can find at tiny.cc/CCCTFT. RT Viking would like to petition to call her Sheeby. What do you think? What do you think, folks? What do you think? Last second name change?
I think it's up to Roger. I would say it's up to Roger.
This is definitely much more Rogers than
Yeah.
anyone else's by a long way.
No, sheepy, because she's so shy and sheepy. Like,
Okay. Sorry, Hard Viking. You need to convince Roger if you want to change your name, not us.
All right, there we go. Sheepy, President of the Forest. Honestly, I think one of the best champions we've done for a while, and
Yeah.
it was done off a random number generator. So we would have never thought of doing a sheep champion otherwise, but I genuinely think
proves-
this is really cool.
it also proves, last time with the with the pug, how cursed that was, and now this time, like, so far
This works a lot better.
It's like, wow.
All right, so again, guys, we'll be back here at the same time, same place next Thursday. Keep an eye on the Discord, of course. We will be updating as if we do end up changing days back to Monday, or if we stay on Thursday again. But as stands, 1 week away will be our next episode. As Exodus said, if you've got any ideas for champions, drop them in the chat, or drop them in the Discord, and we'll try and incorporate as many of them as possible. Hopefully, we'll end up in a situation where we'll have too many ideas, we won't be able to use all of them at once. But we definitely appreciate everything you guys put forward. For now, though, we've got, I guess, the one last thing to do, really, is if there's anybody we can raid right now on Twitch.
Is there somebody we can raid?
Yeah, me in half an hour.
Also, yes, Damien, I agree. I love that pug. I don't know what everyone else's problem was.
Their own best friend.
Their own
Yeah.
best friend. True, true.
It was so good.
I still think it was a little
oh,
bit cursed.
There is someone who is doing a charity stream who I've just was watching. So if people don't have anyone else to send to, I can send it to them.
Sure.
Now let's go.
All right, cool. That's Emrys Plays. So thank you guys again. We'll be back here at. We actually were a little bit earlier than the 1900 GMT is saying, but we'll ping. I think when did we come on this time? We've been going for about an hour and a half.
5:30 we started. Something.
Yeah.
5:40.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put that in as completely different time than we've got there. So that
Also,
would
might
be...
I add, like, Counterfeit has a little bit of, like, James Bond flair going on with his, like, turtleneck and the short.
Almost Steve Jobs. Almost like a Steve Jobs.
Or what I first thought was like Johnny English.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I think that's good to leave it on. I think that's a good quote to leave it on.
I like you raised me up and then you crushed me again. Fantastic. Let's go check out Emrys Plays, and we'll see you all next week.
Oh, that
Johnny
was-
English are fantastic movies. What are you talking about?
Well, really good job tonight. I'll do the infographic.
It is beautiful.
Well, I'm really glad that we managed to pull that one off. That was honestly,
yeah,
I
cool.
think that was genuinely really good.
Gosh, you're so cute.
As soon
But
as
yeah.
we said tiny sheep, I just had a feeling. I just had a feeling.